Another day with cloudy skies. As far as the rain coverage, though, we haven't had too much rain to work with. Yes, it's been damp and kind of a wetter morning, but even with the cloudy skies, there's still a lot to keep an eye to regarding the rain, but we're also keeping an eye out for some of those smoky conditions. Yes, our low pressure system that's parked off towards the east with that counterclockwise rotation, we once again are seeing smoke coming in. So even though we do have the rain, it's still kind of the brunt of that smoke is moving into the Great Lakes region. So as we go later on today, you are going to find that things are going to be maybe a little bit hazy. As far as the rain, that part is going to shut off as that big red L does move on by. But as we go into Wednesday, we will see a little more relief. It's tonight, however, that we'll really kind of see that smoke peak, and we should actually have some clearing in the clouds, so some vivid sunsets are going to be possible. Now, as far as where our air quality index is maybe not the best, and that's going to be in western Michigan. That's where it's very unhealthy for a lot of folks. This is actually one of the worst locations across the country as far as that air quality index. As far as here at home, we are thankfully just in the moderate, so still you might notice some trouble, but we are anticipating that yellow to kind of trend up on the scale, because where we see all this orange, pink, red, that eventually is going to bend as that low pressure system pushes east. It's also going to then pull that smoke into us. So though we are kind of okay, we can kind of say, we are going to be finding that our air quality could start to increase as far as that number, and that would not be an ideal situation. Now here's the look at the rain chances. You can see a lot of that rain is further east. So we are going to have maybe a stray raindrop or two, but into the afternoon, we're actually going to have those clouds slowly starting to lift out with it. So by this evening, there should be enough clearing to where we do see some sun. And with the smoke and the sun, that means that we will have those vivid sunsets. So make sure you send those using the WTOL 11 weather app and also the WTOL 11 news app. And then we can see those gorgeous sunset photos that I know a lot of you are very good at taking because you send those in. Now across the country, we were seeing that rainfall yesterday, but we do have a weak system that's off into the plains, so it is actually bringing some severe weather there into eastern Oklahoma. Overall, though, we just have some summer thunderstorms throughout the central plains, and of course, we'll keep an eye for any of that moisture as it continues its travels further east and what that means for our local forecast. But you'll find here on the hour-by-hour conditions that there is still that lingering shower, maybe a few raindrops here or there that we'll work with, but they'll kind of be in that pop-up nature. However, we'll also be introducing some sun as we go into the mid to late afternoon time frame. So maybe umbrellas, hopefully some sunglasses weather, maybe shape up this Tuesday a little bit. I know a lot of folks have said, hey, it's been a little bit of a slower week. I could use some sun in the forecast. Hopefully we can get some for you on Tuesday. If not, we can bring that into the Wednesday forecast. You're going to find that overnight the clouds clear out. And yes, we will still have a few clouds as we go into Wednesday morning, but we're finally talking more sun and more heat. Finally, numbers are going to be into the 80s as these below average temperatures with the clouds and the cooler air are going to move out, and then we can turn on some of that summer heat that we've been waiting for. Speaking of summer, we also have the 4th of July weekend coming up. Hopefully we have a look of radar like this where there's not a lot going on, because I know a lot of you are going to be out and about, but you're also going to find that we have a lot of heat coming. So you're going to want to use the daily tab. I have the hourly tab open here, but if you use the daily tab, you're going to be able to see all the way through your plans for the 4th of July weekend. All you have to do is download the app. Search WTOL 11 weather in the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and then you will be ready to go as far as seeing some of the heat and also how the forecast looks with your holiday plans. Now, as far as today, we're at least getting closer to 80 degrees, but we're still talking 70s. And we should be in the mid 70s at this point in the season. So we'll get there tomorrow. And then opening the door to some big heat by Thursday. And that's only the beginning as we go through the weekend and even early next week. 90s, not really out of the question, upper 80s even, a couple of degrees close to 90s as we go through the weekend, but we do have some big summer heat, and it's typically into July when we do see some of our peak heat of the season, so we will have that setting up at the perfect time, so it's no surprise that we do have 80s and 90s in our forecast. But normal highs should be around 86 degrees, so when we're talking upper 70s, we're still lagging behind a little bit, but also then when we're talking 90s, well, that's a bit much then for what we would expect. So we're going to kind of peak as far as those average highs around 87 degrees. So that's going to be as we get into early July. Now the low this morning at 64 degrees, very close and very seasonal to where we should start out our mornings. So that means maybe a lighter jacket to get you out the door, maybe a sweatshirt, but otherwise it's pretty easy to get going in the mornings. Now as far as the average high, 98 degrees, that was set back in 1944, so we won't be setting that. And as far as the cooler conditions, we don't have that either. 1988, it was a dry year, but it looks like they also had some cooler conditions leading out to the end of the month. You'll also find, as far as precipitation, picking up a little bit in the rain gauge. We are finally kind of done, well, hopefully done with those drier days that we've had and experienced, because we're now playing catch up. And yet that sunset still after 9 o'clock. Again, remember, you're going to want to catch those sunset photos as those skies clear out, but yet that smoke going to give those vivid red colors out there. Now here's a preview of the 4th of July weekend, making you wait for it, but you can see it's going to be very summer-like this year. We're talking upper 80s as we get into the weekend, and I'm sure a lot of folks are going to have Monday off. I know Tuesday is the holiday, so we're talking 91 then for folks who are going to be maybe packing up campsites or just being out on the town. Partly sunny skies for the 4th itself. On the 3rd, you're going to find more sun into that forecast, very warm. But either way, all these days are warm, and the one wet one is going to be Saturday as we kickstart the weekend. So if you have this really long stretch of days off here, have the WTOL 11 weather app. Keep an eye on the rain chance. Be watching the heat as it rolls in. It's going to be very summer-like, summer thunderstorms, summer heat. So there's a lot of July-like conditions that we will be monitoring. So make sure you stay updated as you're out and about for your weekend plans. Now for today, though, nothing like the heat. It's cool, it's cloudy, highs around 79 degrees. We will have a few showers as we're going to be watching for those clouds, though, to slowly break up and bring us some sun. So that's why I have sunny conditions in for tomorrow and Thursday. Highs, though, finally showing that sun's doing the trick. We're talking 80s and 90s as we go into Thursday. And here's the heat that just lasts for the rest of the 10-day. Though we are watching Friday for some storms to be rolling in, and then those will linger a little bit into Saturday, but hopefully Sunday's kind of the peak day of the weekend, but it's probably a little bit of a longer weekend for many. So we will find partly cloudy skies, though, to kind of finish out this 10-day forecast. Of course, though, whether your holiday plans or even that Friday storm chance, make sure you're getting the latest details from the weather team on the WTOL 11 weather app.